Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modelling tutorial. And today in this episode what I think we will do is we'll go for the honeycomb mesh inside there. We started to create in the last episode this nice little kind of trim that runs around there for our honeycomb to sit inside, so that should be quite cool. What I want to do first though is I do want to fix the side skirts. So when we made this we did do the side skirts inside here, but they're not 100% correct in terms of what it is that we're wanting to actually achieve in here. So we're going to have a go at fixing these first. So what we'll do is I'm going to jump in the side here, and actually before we do, I'm going to maybe isolate the selection. It might be a bit easier for us to kind of go inside here. And I wanted to take all of this, and I'm going to pull this back to about here. Something like that. And that looks like it's probably a half decent orientation there, which is quite good. Now, what we actually have, or what should be happening here, is that these at the front should actually be roughly in the same spot. And then as we get further to the back here, it starts to break away, and I would say probably at around this point, about here. So in order to achieve that, what actually happens as well is this kind of slopes inwards. So we want to try and work on that too. So let's maybe go in here, and I'm going to grab this first. I'm going to hold down V. I'm going to snap into this one, and I'm just going to pull it up ever so slightly. I'm going to do the same here and just pull that up too. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. Snap it into that center and pull it up. And then the same over here into the center. I'm just going to pull that up a little bit. So we've got kind of like one singular line going in there. Now, what we're going to want to do with these, I think, is maybe just pull them out. Maybe just like that. Maybe that's enough. We'll also want to take this one too. So we'll pull that out, maybe to about there. And then I'm just going to take these inner ones here, and we're going to pull these out as well. Okay. And then let's go for these ones too. We'll pull these out. Something like that. And then what I'm thinking we're wanting to do here is maybe just find a good balance in between. So we'll start to kind of come away a little bit from that point as we get along here, and then we start to go across there. So I'm thinking that's much more like what it is we want to do. So let's maybe take all of these, and I'm going to push them in. Something like that. And then I'm going to take these top ones on here. I'm going to do the same. And then take those ones there a little bit further. So I think we want to be a little bit more like that. And then I'm going to have that reflect inside here as well. So we'll do something like that. And then we just want to kind of fade that in down here as well. So I'm going to take these ones, go in with those, and then a little bit more with these ones as well. Just to go something a bit more like that. Okay, so I'm thinking that's going to look quite nice for that. I'm thinking that's much closer to what it is that we want to achieve. And then I think one more thing I just want to do is I'm going to grab these two here, and I think we'll bridge for those ones. Okay, so we'll do something like that. Now we do have a panel gap coming down here for the door, and then that runs off down the side skirt, and that actually goes all the way to the very bottom through the side skirt, because this door is like a gull wing and it opens all the way up, which is quite cool. What we'll do is I'm actually going to draw this gap in just now, and then we're going to extract that panel and extract the side skirt, and we may make the side skirt real quick as well. So I'm going to go in my side view here, and again I want to make sure we're drag selecting, and I'm going to just pull over to one side of the door, and I think it'll be easiest to pull over to this side. I'm just going to grab each of these and just pull to the right hand side of this line, which I've already done for the most part going all the way up here. So that's looking quite nice. Let's double check that on our top view because we can see some of this. So we can see here that we want some of these to be actually a lot further in. Maybe not actually, maybe let's just take it a little bit further in that direction. Try and find a nice mid ground, and we can see at the bottom there we're looking okay. So I'm fairly happy with that. Let's go then and grab our insert edge loop tool, and I'm going to drop one in down there. Now obviously this is the door, so it is going to be quite a potentially a thicker gap. And then I'm going to go and add in there with my multi-cut, and that should allow me to go down here again now with my insert edge loop. We'll go a little bit closer here, something like that, and then again we can go where we need to go here, and we can just join that together. Okay, so we've got that line in there for the door. So let's go and grab all these faces. So we'll take all of those, we'll just hit delete. Okay, so we've got all of that going along there quite nicely. Let's maybe bring everything back, and we'll go for a separate on those. And I'm just going to duplicate special on the door. Actually, let's maybe not duplicate special just yet. Maybe let's go in here, and I'm going to add in a line under here. And I'm going to do the same on this side as well whilst we're here. Like that. Also, I'm going to add a line on here too. And on here. So if you remember, we're going to work with those just like we did on the front for this little cap down here too. So we'll do that. Let's go and select all of these faces then. I'm going to hit delete and do the same all the way along there, and hit delete on there too. I'm just going to pull that face up just a little bit. That vertex even, just a little bit there. Might as well grab all of this, and we'll hit delete on that too. And then we'll take this one as well. Okay, so I've dissected that up quite nicely, so let's maybe select all of that again, and I'm just going to hit separate on all of those. So we've got all those separate little pieces now. So let's go then, and we'll maybe do the side skirt first. So let's take this across. I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to hit duplicate special on that. I'll take that around here. So I've got this little bit of the side skirt just here. So firstly, I think what we'll do is I'm going to take this lower part of the side skirt here. I'm going to hit Control E. I think I'm just going to take that in. Maybe just take it all the way in and across there, just to match that next section. I'm going to grab a loop, and just to make this a bit easier, I'm going to drop this loop on here, just kind of horizontal to where that one's sitting. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And then what we should be able to do is let's just maybe bridge across. So I'm going to grab these ones here. I'm going to edit mesh and then hit bridge. And I'm going to grab those two and hit G to duplicate that last tool. I'll do the same over here. And then the same here as well. Let's do something like that. Okay. What we'll do now is I'm going to take maybe all of this, and then all of the kind of corresponding sections up here. So I'll take all of these. Let me just double check my references real quick. I think that should be fine. So we'll grab those there. We're going to hit Control E. I'm just going to pull those in just a little bit. maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to grab these vertices here, and I'm just going to pull them on the Z-axis, just to make a little bit more space there. Okay, so on a lot of the reference imagery, there is some that is obviously the very original kind of prototype that came through, and for that this was very smooth, but since then I think it's got a little bit more to it, so we'll maybe factor that in. Let's just hit 3 just now. So we can see on this that it's got quite a smooth curve, but I don't think it's quite that smooth anymore. So we're going to want to do a few things then here. Let's maybe take this one and move that on the Z a little bit as well. Okay. Let me bring everything back. I don't think we're going to need this edge here. I think to make this a little bit easier, what we could do is we could target weld up here. I think it'll just be easier to have that kind of moving over to the point there. So something like that instead. Okay, we may change that, but we'll just see how that kind of works as we go in there. So if we hit 3 relative to everything else, we can see we're losing a lot. So let's maybe have a go at insert some edge loops around the locations that we know are fine. So we know that that one's fine up there. We know that wants to be fairly rigid. We know that this one is also going to be quite rigid. This one's going to be a little bit awkward now because of what we've added, but I'm going to drop an edge loop up here and an edge loop, maybe not there because that's going to draw that in for us. I'm going to quickly just draw in a loop around here. And let me just isolate this so I can go around the other side. Okay, so I think that's going to be okay. I'm going to grab my target weld and we'll weld up here and then down there. Okay, so start to shore up the top edge here. We've got this top edge looking good as well, and then we've got the very top along there looking nice, and we can see that's curving off around the corner there, which is also looking quite nice. Let's grab some edge loops again, and I'm going to drop in 2, one at the top and then one down here at the bottom. And again, you can hit 3 on there, so we can start to see now that we've got a nice defined edge that's running along there. We could maybe drop another one down there, but I don't think we'll need to because we don't really see it. Now we want to just think about how tight we want this section to be. So I'm going to go and grab my edge loop, and I'm maybe going to drop one just there, and then we can hit 3. So we can see that we're not completely tight, but we do have a nice little bit of a gradient that kind of comes around for that portion. Okay, so I think that's going to look quite nice. Let's put on our gloss. I'll go for a gloss black here. And then when we zoom in nice and close, we can kind of see how that's going to look for us. Okay, so I think that's looking quite good. Let's maybe throw the gloss black on this side too. Okay, so I'm happy with that. We could maybe have a go at this bit. So let's grab both of these. I'm going to put my wireframe on, and we're going to kind of want to do the same as what we did down here. So we're going to go and we're going to take the insert edge loop to drop about at that same spot. That will allow us now to do some bridging, but first let's go and take these. I'm going to hit Control E, and just like we did with the other ones, we're just going to pull that like there. And then that should allow us to bridge between. So we'll grab these edges here. I'm going to go to Edit Mesh and Bridge. Do the same with those ones, hitting G. Do the same around here as well. And up here. Okay, so we've got kind of the same idea going on with these. So let's go and let's maybe hide the selection there. Okay, so let's go and take this edge and this edge. I'm going to grab all of these outer edges here and along the bottom there. Maybe what we'll do first is let me just take these and I'm going to pull these back one just to match that next line there. Just make sure I grab all of those. Okay, so again I'm going to grab all of these here. Maybe what we could do with this is let's just pull that all the way, just so it's a little bit neater. I'll take these two. Okay, and then I'm going to hit Control E, and then we're just going to pull that into match, like so. So let's have a go then at adding some similar edge loops inside here. So we added one to run here, and then around there. Do the same on this side. Okay, and we'll run one up here as well. Let's just check the front. Okay, that's fine. And then what we could do as well is I'm going to run an edge on here. I'm going to do the same on that one. And then I think the last thing we'll want to do is we just want to match that same distance up there as well. So we get the same kind of curve. I'm going to bring that down. So I'm going to hit 3 and 3. So we can see that that's following that perfectly off and around that corner for us. So again, what we could do is we could hit duplicate special on that just now. So we can see here without the door that that's moving around there quite nicely. So again, we'll maybe go and throw our gloss black on there. Okay. Okay, so that's looking good. Okay, so I don't think there's any point in doing these ones just yet, because if we do make any kind of major changes to the actual door here or the rear quarter, it may be worth just bringing those down again, but I think they're okay for now. We do have the rear diffuser and everything going on around here as well. We could maybe have a think about that. So let's go. I'm going to select all the faces that go with that rear diffuser. And I'm going to have this one very similar to the front. It's going to occupy the same space, but because we're going to bevel all the way on there, it'll give us that little nice discrete panel gap. So I'm going to select all of those, and I'm going to go mesh, or edit mesh, and we'll hit extract on there. Okay, so we have this lower portion which we did separately. I think that would be a good idea to do that separately. Let's quickly duplicate special on there as well. Actually first, let's maybe grab these and we'll combine them and just separate them again. That should let us duplicate special with both of these. So we can think about what we're going to do along here. So for the most part this is looking not too bad as is. Maybe what we could do is we could do a quick cheeky bridge down here. I'm going to go edit mesh and bridge those together. I think what we'll do is let's maybe grab all of the top here and we'll hit Control E, and I'm going to pull that down on the blue there just a little bit. And then let's take all the lower ones. Just make sure I'm not selecting the wrong ones in here. So take all of those. I'm going to hit Control E. And I think we'll maybe take up on the blue as well. Yeah, take up on the blue for those. something like that. And what we could actually do at this point is we could insert an edge loop. We can drop one there and also here. We could target weld to those. So that means that we're going to have a nice defined line. You can see that nice and defined running all the way along there. Which is cool. We could grab all of this edge and then all of this one. So that top and bottom. We could maybe even take these ones too. So all the way around there. And I'm going to go for a bevel on this. I think a 0.6 and maybe drop an extra segment inside there. I don't want to go too far. So grab that, I'm going to hit G, bring everything back in, and we can see that's looking super nice and super smooth there. If we hit 3 on the rest of the body, for example, we can see that that's following around with a very minimal distance in between as well, which looks really good. Okay, so let's maybe drop our gloss black on that too. Basically, whenever I finish an item, I like to add the glossy paint to it, so we can see there that's looking really nice as the paint runs around. So starting to make some good progress around here. That's looking really good. I'm not sure what we'll do for these. I'm maybe gonna take all of them, all these little diffuser fins here. Let's have a go at combining those. That's quite frustrating. It's not going to select everything. So let's go into our back view here. And I think what we'll do is I'm going to drag select and then deselect all of those. So drag select every edge and just deselect those curved edges because we don't want to bevel those again. So I'm just shift selecting and then control selecting to deselect those intersections. Okay, so take all of those. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that selection. Let's see if we can apply a small bevel to this. So let's go for a bevel on the outside. 0.5 looks fine. I'll maybe just add 3 fractions to those. That's just to give it a slightly nicer edge inside there, especially a little bit of extra reflections when it comes to the light hitting that. I can drop that in there, so that's looking quite nice. And again, we'll start to see that when all of these are the same colour, that they're not really going to cause too much of an issue for us. I think my section here needs another loop, so for my kind of floor area here, I need another loop to take that in, so it's not interfering in there. Maybe these won't actually come back and miss this. So that might be quite nice. So we can see straight through to the tire tread inside there. Okay, so that's looking nice, that rear section. We'll maybe look at this when we've got a bit more time. I think what we'll do, just to kind of cap this episode off, is we'll have a go at creating a little bit of honeycomb for this. So I'm going to bring in one of these ones. I think we're going to need 2, because I don't think the one on its own is going to be thick enough. Just going to delete one of those. Let's bring back in our... So let's just get this into position here. I'm hoping 2 will be enough. And I'm going to quickly combine these here, and I'm just going to run down and grab all the vertices, but not those ones. Oops. And we'll go edit mesh and we'll merge those together. I think that should be enough. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be good. So let's get this in here. Get this rotated. Okay, and I'm just going to get this roughly in position. It does look like we want to scale this down a little bit. So maybe go something like that. Maybe that was a bit too much. Can't scale in too much though because I don't have quite enough width here. So maybe go just a little bit larger and a little bit over there. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So we'll grab that in there. I'll maybe get its orientation just now as well. So if you guys remember way back when we actually made this, is we did try and flatten this area out. So we might be able to just do a little bit of shuffling with rotations in here. Okay, something like that. And once we're happy with that positioning, just gonna go in here and get rid of all the excess. Okay, I'll go a lot tidier in between episodes. Okay, and then when we're roughly happy with how that's all going to lay out inside there, what we could do is maybe select this middle area here. I'm going to hit B on my keyboard for soft selection. Just pull that down, maybe increase that soft selection a little bit. Take that down, maybe bring that bit back up, and then just play a little bit of shuffling around to get that kind of sitting how you want it to sit. That's looking okay, so I'm going to hit B to remove that, and then once we're happy, we can grab all the faces here, we can hit Ctrl E, keep faces together, turn that off, and then we can scale that in. I'm going to do this just like we did with the front, so we'll take it down just a little bit, and then when we're happy with that, I'm going to hit Ctrl E, take it down again, and then once you're happy with that depth, we can hit delete, and then that's going to drop that honeycomb mesh in there nicely for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do in between episodes is I'm probably just going to tidy this up. Easiest way that I like to do that is I like to take the actual mesh itself, and I like to take the kind of outer rim that we've made for it. You want to keep it smoothed, obviously, because if you was to do it like this, it's not really going to make too much sense. And then once we're in here, it's just going to be a case of running around, and I'll just leave anything excess that's going to interfere, I will just leave behind, because we don't want to delete anything or too much that we actually need. Because hopefully the majority of the body panels will hide the rest of this for us as well. But I'm going to go and I'm going to do this in between episodes. If you did enjoy this episode, guys, please hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. In the next episode, I'm not sure what we'll do. We could start with a brand new panel, maybe the door, or work our way around the back. Maybe the rear bumper actually to sit nicely with what we have here. But I will see you guys in the next one.